Well, since we already made a video about sense of urgency, we're going to call this one Money Loves Speed because that's the truest thing that I can tell you about money that money loves. Started that one on a bad note, but we're just going to roll with it. So Money Loves Speed, let's talk about that. So the first thing I want to tell you is when that bell hits. When a new car comes in, we have a bell right next to the entrance of the back of the house or the shop. And when that bell rings, what that means is that there's a new car coming in. Now, we listen to that bell, it means we got to pull a car in as soon as possible. You'll notice that number one bay is always left open for inspections, oil changes, anything that is less than a 30-minute job. Therefore, we can have roughly, if you do the math, 20 cars in that bay every single day, which is an incredible amount. Because if you do the math over 6 days, that's 120 cars to inspect, which is about what we actually aim for. That's exactly why the math. You have 20 cars a day, because you have that bay should not have anything in there that is going to last over 30 minutes. Now, sometimes guys will start pulling in cars that'll take an hour, and that's when you screw up your flow, and then you're like, oh, we don't have enough room. We'll got to keep that bay open. That's very important. Now, as far as timings are concerned, waiters are 15 minutes. Within 15 minutes, they got to get that car in, up on the lift, and get one item, ideally, within 15 minutes, and go back to the customer and actually communicate that. All of that has to happen within 15. So the timings for that would be as soon as a waiter comes in, that car should be inside the shop within 5 minutes, already on the lift, and it should have oil getting drained and one item found within 10 minutes. And then from that 10 minutes mark to the 15-minute mark, the writer should have something to quote for the customer. Drop-offs, you get them in, but again, if there's a waiter already in place, you already get the waiter in. And if there's no waiters, then of course you want to bring that drop-off in and bring it inside, and within, same exact thing, within 10 to 15 minutes, get one item, and the writer should call within 30 minutes. Guys, I want to tell you something about money. Money loves speed because the next car is always the most important car in our business. The cars that have already been inspected, pitched, approved, those cars are already secured revenue. The cars that are coming in are the ones that you want to cater to, because if you don't, somebody else will, and that sale is going to go to your competitor along with that customer for the long term. Now, the other item that I want to talk to you guys is about, we run around the bases, as you learned in the Circle of Sales. If you haven't watched that video, you're going to get a lot of detail in the timings of that. But generally what we like to do is the first pitch is all about speed. The second, third, you just do them within an hour, you'll be fine. But if you mess up the first pitch, you're going to be cooked. It's pretty much that simple. Constant communication, that's another thing you're learning in that Circle of Sales. We don't have customer update phone calls. What we do sometimes if it takes a lot, but if you do just follow this speed concept, what you're doing is you're calling the customer about 3 times on average, and you're also telling them what's wrong. You're updating them, and you're also telling them if there's any additional parts that are required or services that are required. That's why the customers love us, because if you watch the last video about sense of urgency, the number one concern that customers have about shops is they don't call me. They hate shops because shops don't communicate. So when we communicate, they like us, and also it gives us that edge over our competitors. Ordering parts, as soon as it gets approved, you should be ordering parts immediately. You should be moving that magnet right to that section in the board, which we're going to talk about in the board video. Once the cars are finished, move them on to the QC. Again, the board has that whole concept. QC should be done immediately. Customers should be contacted as soon as the car is done QC'd, whether it's via text. That's the only time we are okay with you texting the customer, is when the car is completed. Short of that, you never text the customer about anything. So you always call them, and you can send them the DVI over text. But always remember, guys, the whole gist of this video is getting that car in right away, doing it within 15 minutes of the first pitch or 30 minutes for a drop-off, and understanding that money does love speed, and if you are slow, you are not going to get paid. I'm so sorry about that. It's just the way the market works. I hope this video is helpful. The bell rings, get after it. And more on this in the Circle of Sales videos as well as the board videos. There's lots of things coming on speed and updating the customers. I hope this is helpful. See you in the next one.